so we are very energetic now. And I know it's already almost midnight for you, and please stand for 1 more hour, and we are going to show you some interesting things. And here I've been saying we are now in Taipei, and Taipei is the capital of Taiwan. And maybe you have heard about Taipei 101 building. It used to be the tallest building in the world. Okay, and where's Taipei 101? Taipei 101 is at a very modern area, newly developed area of Taipei, and so it looks modern. And actually, in most part of Taipei, and actually in the whole Taiwan, maybe it looks modern. And so, in other words, you can say it looks maybe very similar to the rest of the world. But now, the place that we're standing now is the old town of Taipei. And so, later on, you will see from our camera, this place looks a bit special. So, later on, we are going to show you the historic buildings, also old space, and more important is that, and later on, you will see this is not that important. What I think is that, but there you will see there are many like local people still working and living in this area. Okay. And so in the next 1 hour, how we can use tradition, culture, and lots of innovations in the old town to promote tourism. Okay, so now follow me to our first spot. Let's go.
不好意思，我可以打扰一下吗？那个老师可不可以帮我们把麦克风拿在嘴边，因为听不太到，然后这样口译那边也会有点状况。
Why do we have so many fabric shops here? It has something to do with history. Taiwan was colonized.
那个志豪听得到声音吗？那个老师可能麦克风拿在手上，对着嘴巴讲好了，可以帮我们提醒一下吗？
Okay. Change the place. Is that more clear now? Is that okay now? Okay. In Japan's time, when Taiwan colonized Japan, and there were many like cargo ships going back and forth in between Taiwan and Japan. And on the way back from Japan to Taiwan, the ships were empty. So they were loaded with lots of beautiful Japanese fabrics. And when the fabrics arrived in Taiwan, the first place the fabric would go is actually here. This is the wholesale market. And now, because of the pandemic, so we have to do something. It's a registered system that we have to scan a QR code, and then it's like we are registered in the government system that we have been here. So later on, if there's any case happened, and then government has a chance to track and who has been to the same place at the same time. Okay, so everyone has to do it, and we have to test our temperature before we enter a space. Okay, so let's go. And now we can actually, and there are some really local patterns I can show you here. And for example, this bag is the Taiwan temple. And on the back, you can see the flower and the big flowers like this. One is the flower, it's called peony. understand. And in Chinese, it has a very good symbolic meaning, like symbolizing like growth and prosperity. In old time, Taiwanese people like this kind of pattern very much. And now let's move. So now at my back, you will see lots of the fabric shops. And we have been saying why we have so many fabric shops here. And actually, the business was really good. And so sometimes, in the morning, the workers unloaded the fabrics from the port and then drag it back to the market. And sometimes because business was good, and so before the shop owners got time to move their fabrics back to the shop, it's already gone, already sold out. So very good business. And why we will have such a fabric market in Dadao, China was actually because of the history. Because Taiwan used to be colonized by Japan, and so we have this business like started and developed here. And it continues until today. And so now let's move a little bit. Let's pass through a small section of the fabric market. Shops here, each shop has its own fashion. Each shop is different. So, for example, we would have the fabrics for making the blankets. We can do the very colorful patterns for blankets. And make a bag of your own. I like that. You can find the fabrics like this. And you can see shiny fabrics, and this is for making the stage costume. For example, dancing, or you want to do some drama on the stage. You want to make a very sexy Chinese dress that is tight to your body. You can find the fabrics here. I want to ask you a question. So, in your country, can you find something like the fabrics we just introduced? What I mean is that, for example, now because of the pandemic, for example, then people are not able to travel abroad, and so when they see something imported from a foreign country, it looks exotic, and so they feel excited. Well, this is from that country I want to visit. So for the local Taiwanese at that time, it's the same. And so they were very happy to see the Japanese fabrics imported from Japan, and they were very excited and they bought it. So that is why we have the business started from here. And so in your country, in your culture, do you have something also we can say exotic, and that is attractive to both the local customers and to foreign tourists? If you do, maybe we can go to some something highlight, like something special you can show to your tourists. And now we are leaving the fabric market, heading to our next step. The purple shot tea. The most healthy. follow me doors. It's a long history and the name of the church of the doors. And now maybe some of you would see lots of, for example, aloe vera, you know it, and lots of herbs for making the herbal tea. And why herbal tea and actual herbal shop here? Just a second. Why we have the shops here? It also has something to do with the history and also the surrounding environment. Well, actually, there is a temple nearby, and it's a very popular temple. And you know, in the past time, when the poor people, they were sick, what can they do? Maybe they don't have money to go to a hospital or clinic. So what they did is that they went to the temple, they prayed to the dog god, and then they would do something but they would pull a quarter stick, and there's a number on the stick. Okay, and with this number, prescription, and it's a prescription from the god. So they went out of the temple, and usually they would find several herbal shops, the herb shop nearby. So according to the fortune slip, the prescription, they got several herbs, and they would bring it home, they cook it and drink it. So that's the magic. And so because we have the temple, that is why we have with a very long view. So now we are going to move the second shop. Now we're in front of the system, and you can see it looks very different. And it's also an old shop, but you can see it looks quite modern and quite trendy. And so with interior design, we've got some woods, and it looks very cozy in the space. And actually, it's also an old shop, but it has been recently renovated. So in Downtown, there are many old shops that are doing the same thing. They are trying to do some transformation, and so the first thing they will do is doing the renovation of the shop. And then they will also have some developing some products with the different package like this. And so it's easier for the tourists or for young people to bring it home, and they can just easily, for example, drinking the tea at home. So now let's move on and let's see what we can get in the herbal tea shop. Okay. Now just next to me, and you can see the menu of the herbal tea shop. And the most typical tea is what we herbal tea. Basically, each shop here has its own recipe, but it's usually about 5 to 6 types of herbs, and then we mix them together. And usually, for some of the big shops, they herbal tea also has some taste like citrus because they add some taste to adding some like fruit taste. So why we have to call this herbal tea? Actually, basically, it can help us to remove the heat from our bodies and also help us to recover from our fatigue. So that's the main functions. And also, it's strongly well emphasized that you can drink some herbal tea daily in the home. Okay. And so now let's have a look at how the herbal tea looks like. very dark color. Okay. And it's very dark color, and it's actually cool, and just bring it out from the fridge. Okay. And actually, we're going to buy a bottle of the herbal tea and for our drink today. Can we burn it now or later? 还是我们等一下再回来呢？ We'll live here just for a while, and our system will take it. And also have the aloe vera tea, and aloe vera tea is very good for the skin. If you get itchy or sensitive to your skin, and you can have aloe vera tea.
Mm. 好，我们现在有这个调整一下那个收讯的方式，看会不会接下来的讯号会比较好一些。
好，因为就是都是在户外，然后用手机那个网络，所以可能都不太稳定。刚刚那个声音其实都听不太清楚。
用手稍微遮一下，这样有比较难看到。主要是环境太大。
比较是网络，可能是网络的关系。
你有听见吗？运滑的声音。我反而是听我自己的声音。
然后他现在有在讲话吗？完全听不到耶。麦克风没有收到声音耶。现在麦克风是关掉的哦。
再试试看。
你就
我先用我的手机登录。
用我的手机来收音。
那可是你会听不到。好，我直接这样子讲 ，OK 吗？好，这样子有比较大声吗？
有。好。
喂。
这样好了，就这样好了，就这样子好了。对，刚刚那个，现在这样可以。
有开。
帮我留意一下手机的电量。
有开吗？那我看一下我的。
好很多。
你那一罐等下再来拿吧，就不用一直拿着。
那您就拿手机讲。
喂，这样子有声音吗？我现在用我的。
那个麦克风开一个装置就好了，喇叭跟麦克风都一个装置使用就好了，不然会回收。
这样有声音吗？有听到吗？
其他的装置就是麦克风跟喇叭都要进。 你们那边现场其他装置的那个麦克风跟喇叭都要关掉。
喂，这样子有比较大声吗？
有，这样可以。
没有，这样可以吗？
这样声音是可以的。
哦，好，
对，
这样子可以，那我就继续
就用
咯。
手机。好。
好，我用手机继续说。
好，
谢谢。好，那我们就继续 ，Let's move on。OK。那这个我还是放在身上。好。OK， 好，那我们可以走了吗？好 ，OK，so let's move on. And I don't know if you have heard me talking about the herbal tea, okay? But herbal tea is a very special drink in Taipei and also in Taiwan. And probably now you can only find it in an old town, like here, like in Dadaocheng. And so what we are going to say is that for something like herbal tea, it's something special. And so it's very different from the beverage that you can easily get in a convenience store. Now, for example, Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Heineken beer, and so it's something unique, and it only happens in the place that you live or you work, in your area. Then we think this is something you can pick it up and introduce to your customers, to your tourists. And the place that we are heading to, our next destination, is a lovely fabric shop. And so we have been talking about the fabric market. And so now we want to show you a fabric shop. And it's actually a new fabric shop, only opened about 12 or 13 years ago by 3 young girls who just graduated from school at the time. And this lovely fabric shop is called In Bloom. And what the materials that they are using, the fabrics they are using, are actually from local. Okay. And they actually has a very strong connection with the surrounding environment, with the areas around. So first thing, they got the materials from local. And then for the market we just visit, there are many tailor shops. Here we are. And so they actually work with some of the tailor shops here, and they have the local people helping them for sewing, making the bags, handkerchiefs, hats, clothes, etc. Okay, now we have arrived at the shop. 医生吗？哦，好，你好，那我们在这边拍一下。好。Okay, now we are in the lovely shop. And as you can see, let me show you. I want to introduce several patterns for you. And something very special about the shop is that many of their patterns are actually very close and very related to Taiwan's culture. And so, for example, at my back, you can see something like this. We can make it close to the camera for you, and you can see it's actually a flower. It's called begonia. Begonia is 海棠 in Chinese, and it's a begonia glass pattern. So where can we find this kind of pattern in Taiwan? Actually, we use lots of this. It's a stained glass pattern in old traditional windows. Okay. So you can say for some level, it can almost represent Taiwan. When we see the begonia glass pattern, this is Taiwan. Okay. And so in this year, they also have some new innovations, and they do some very lovely, very cute, girly colors. And but it's also from the begonia glass pattern. So you can see it here. Okay. And let's see another pattern very important for the shop is this one. This is a bird, as you can see. And so, but what kind of bird is this? And this is a bird called myna, 八哥. Well, and myna bird is a bird that can copy human speech. So, there's a period of time that Taiwanese like to keep myna at home as pet because it's funny. Because when you say hello, and the bird was also copy like hello, 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 so people like it. But later on, people get tired of the birds. Maybe it's too noisy. So anyway, they just abandon the birds in the wild. And so gradually, you could see the birds in the wild. Most of them are like, because they are a foreign species imported from Thailand, and gradually it threatened the local species. So now in the wild, for like 95% of the birds, it's actually all foreign species. So this shop choose it as their first pattern to reminding local people of this endangered species, this issue. So as you can see, this is a shop that focus on Taiwanese features, and also they emphasize on the relationship between people and environment. So that's why we want to show you. And more important, we want to emphasize their connection with the surrounding environment, the materials they use, and also their connection with like the tailors, and the relative industries around. Okay, let's go.
谢谢，拜拜。
Okay. So also in your area, can you find a shop like in Bloom? So a shop that use local materials and has a strong connection with the environment, with the surrounding, the shops, the area. Then if you do, and maybe you can also pick it up and focus on it. That would be something interesting. Okay. 在前面。OK。好，那前面有那个对充电站。还是你要现在先 ？OK， 好。So now we're heading to temple. Under COVID-19, we need to keep ourselves healthy, but not only about physically healthy, but also mentally healthy. So we need to be calm and having hope all the time. So we need religion. Be careful. And so we are going to visit the most famous temple in Dadaocheng. It's called Xiahai City God Temple. And this temple has been very popular in Dadaocheng and in Taipei for more than 100 years. And actually, it hosts one of the two largest religious festivals in Taiwan. It used to be. Okay. And one very important thing for the whole area and for the temple is that they host a pilgrimage every year. A pilgrimage before the birthday of the major god every year. And it was a very big pilgrimage. And so the temple actually will invite the neighbors and local shops to join the preparation of the parade. Okay, and so in this way, you can see a temple is not only a temple, it's actually multifunctional. So for example, we have been mentioning about the fabric market, and actually for the temple, each year in a certain season, they will host like a fashion show, and they will invite the fabric shops to join the fashion show. So this temple is pretty multifunctional, and also it's doing many things. So it's just like a center for the community. So in your case, maybe it's not a temple, but maybe a church. Maybe you have a church. It has the same function, just like our temple here, and then you can focus on it. Be careful. Maybe you can move to this side, and because that's the end of the ghost month. So this temple just has I think it's a festival for celebrating the end of Ghost Month. And so now they have the shelf, and they are removing the shelf right now. So there will be some noise, and you can see a bit messy here. But what we want to introduce to you about the shop is that it's something interesting. Is that about 20 years ago, the shop manager, the temple manager noticed something. You know, she felt like something's wrong. Why? Because she figured out less and less young people came to pray in the temple. So it could be a crisis, some threats in the future, you know. And so what the temple decided to do, very smart, they decided to promote one of their gods. What is the god? Well, it's a love god. You know, and in the Western culture, the love god is a little angel with wings and can fly. But in the Chinese culture, our love god is an old man. And actually it got a name called the old man under the moon. Okay, but the love god's job is helping you to find the other half, and then you will be tied up with an invisible red thread on your little finger with the other half. Okay, so this is the love god's job, and because of the promotion and in the last 20 years, this love god is getting more and more popular. So now in the temple square, you could see it's almost empty. Well, but do you know, before COVID-19, on this square, it's almost like a little United Nation. And you will see young people from all over the world, and maybe Japan, Korea, or even Brazil, and they come here to pray in front of the temple for the love God. So this is something interesting we want to share with you. Okay, and then a temple can benefit many local people. So taking the love God for example, and so for when the tourists come in to pray in front of temple, so they have to buy the offerings, you know. So for the shops nearby, we could get the offering set for love God. So let's get a close look about what we can get.
你好，我们稍微拍一下。好，谢谢。
Okay, so here we got the offering set for love God, and what we can get here now, and it's like a very lovely bag. But what we have in the bag? Okay, and actually they got something like this. It's called jubilee. It's a kind of herb. No, it's actually a seed, a fruit seed. And then we have something smaller like this one. It's a wolfberry. Okay, both of them, we believe they have very good symbolic meaning of helping you to find your partner quicker and earlier. Okay, and what we have in the bag is also candies. Why we have candies in the bag? Because love God has a sweet tooth. He likes sweets, so you can find lots of candies or cakes or something sweet on the offering table. Okay, so let's move on. So a temple can benefit many people, and it's not only a temple. No, it's actually the center of this area for the case of Dao Chen. Okay. And on our way, we want to show you something that is probably ordinary in our life, but it maybe is extraordinary for you. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, what is this? This is actually an electric scooter, you know, and in the metropolitan area of Taiwan, and especially in Taipei, and we have lots of the electric scooters now. And so like this one, it got the name called Gogoro, very cute name. And so
It's actually made of Taiwan. And for this one is quite special is that we actually now we have a scooter rental system. And so for this one, we got the special plate. It's in the green color, so it's for rental. Okay. And how to rent this bike? Well, actually, you can use your smartphone. You turn on the app, and then you can lock and unlock. Well, first of all, you have to find the scooter, right? And so you can search on the app and search to see if you got any scooters around in your near your location, and then you can unlock and lock the scooter by your cell phone. Okay. And so when this scooter is out of battery, what you can do, come over here, let me show you. Okay. And here, this is actually a power station for the electric scooters. So, you know, you can come by here and you can put it up, and so you can swap your battery in seconds. Okay, so this is something quite normal now in Taipei, and probably it looks a little bit special for you. And so from this example, we want to explain to you is that finding something extraordinary in ordinary. So something maybe you look or you use it every day and it doesn't look too special for you, but actually for tourists, it's very special. Okay, so find it. Okay. Find your Gogoro. And now we are walking on the street, the main street of Dadaocheng, and then there are more than 100 Chinese medicinal shops in Dadaocheng, Zhongyaohang. Okay, and so this is one of the very important industry here. It's the Chinese medicinal shops. And so now walking in here, we can actually smell the very strong flavor of the Chinese medicines. And so it's very relaxing. And the shop owners are very professional. And if we have any like chronic disease, normally and we will come by to these shops and we'll get something natural and mild and good for our health and can nourish our body on a daily basis. So in this section, we have lots of the Chinese medicinal shops, as you can see from the camera. And also for example, for this shop, and you would see they have some bottles on the shelf. So this is what we call the scientific Chinese herbs. Is that we make it into powder, so it's easier for people to take home, and you can take it every day easily. Okay. And now over here, we want to introduce you something special.
不好意思，我们可以在这边稍微拍一下，谢谢。
I want to introduce to you the Taiwanese grandma's Louis Vuitton. You know, why we call Taiwanese grandma's Louis Vuitton? You know what the Taiwanese grandma carry to wet market? They carry this kind of colorful shopping bag. And why Taiwanese grandma like it? As you can see from the camera, it's very colorful and it's very lightweight and it's made of plastic. So it's actually very durable. It's waterproof. And so you can put like 10 kilograms of potatoes in the bag without breaking it. So it's very useful and very durable. So that is why grandma likes it. But the thing is, it used to be out of fashion, out of date. And why it returns to popularity is because of tourism. So in the first, it's some foreign magazines, they noticed the bag and they started to report about the bag in their magazines. And then it show up in the guidebook of some countries' tourist book. And so you would see the tourists started to look for this kind of bag. So that's why it returns to fashion and popularity. And now it's already a fashion for both tourists and also like young people, local young people, especially hipsters, Wenqing. Okay, and so from this example, can move on. So from this example, we can see the value of tourism. We are now going to cross the road. So, okay, let's move. So from the case of the Grandma's Louis Vuitton, we will see the value of tourism. 可以了吗？好 ，Okay, let's move on. And why do I say so? So if we use tourism in a proper way, it can actually help us to preserve either a historical building or a traditional culture, or even a traditional industry, just like the bag. The factories for making the bag used to be going to close very soon, and because of tourists, they are alive again. But having said that, local customers are also very important. Now we are at the intersection waiting for the red light. And why we say local customers are also important? Actually, in the past few months, we have been seeing many examples happening in the old town in here. So, if you are the shop that fully relied on foreign or local tourists, then you will be in trouble because of the pandemic. So for something like pandemic this time, and you will see many of the shops here, if they fully relied on tourists, they were in trouble. Some of them already shut down. And so how can the shops here survive? Well, actually, you also need local support. You need to have some local customers to support you. And so you can have a more sustainable and also reliable development. Okay. So the pandemic actually teaches a lesson, that is, don't forget your local customers.
分享的那个账号离开了。
Hello.
方便帮我，您现在是要换用这个
OK 吗？好，
他说要换另外一个镜头。
好，
方便帮我把摄影机放横的吗？
可以说话了吗？
方便帮我把摄影机先打横吗？横着拍。
好，可以继续了吗？
横着拍。对啊。
可以吗 ？OK 吗？好 ，Let's move
这
on.
个摄影机可
Let's
以
go.
调成横的吗？
Now let's
现在镜
go
头
to
是
see some transformation of the Chinese medicinal shop here. And nowadays, when people get sick, most people go to the Western medicine the clinics, the hospitals. So how can the Chinese medicinal shop here? Are you okay? How can the medicinal shops here survive? They have to develop some things that is very close to people's daily life. How they can attract the local customers to use Chinese medicine in their life.
那个岛内散步那个，不然你就直的拍好了，好不好？因为我们这边看都是水平都不对。
介绍一下，老板，那个清冠1号是哪一个？这个对不对？来介绍一下。好 ，So for example, we have many tea bags, and for example, you can have something like this to help you to recover from your fatigue. If you have insomnia problem, and you can drink this one, or you want to lose some weight, then you can have this tea. And then now under the pandemic, they also have something that is good for your lung and also good for your immune system and can help you to fight with the virus. Okay, so nowadays, the Chinese medicinal shops here are doing lots of transformation, and one thing is that they kind of like develop more products that is very close to people's daily life. So we can show you some more things. For example, this is anti-mosquito pack. So how can we use this? This is actually natural herbs, and you can just leave it next to your window. And so it cannot kill the mosquitoes, but the mosquitoes doesn't like the smell, and so it would just expel it away. So, and after a few months, when it's like the smell is gone, you can use it to mop the floor, make your environment clean. Okay, so this is the Chinese medicinal shop we want to introduce to you. And maybe you can find something like Chinese medicinal shops in your area, something very local, but you can find some things that is very attractive to local customers and also like tourists. And so like for the Chinese medicinal shops, before COVID-19 happened, there are many Japanese tourists coming to buy the scientific Chinese medicine, so the powder thing, and so they like it very much. For example, for doing something like handover, we have some like powder, and it's very natural. And so they will come here and buy many bottles and bring it home as souvenirs for their friends. Okay, and now we are standing at the middle street. And so from the camera, you can start to see we have lots of architectures here. And actually for Dadaocheng, and this place is like a living portfolio for architecture. And we have lots of different architecture styles remained here from early 20th century. So, and something very special is that if we have a look of Guo Yimei, the building on the left, and you will see for that one, it's very fancy, and we call it the Taiwanese Baroque. And even though it's called Baroque, it's not only one style, it's not only one pure Western style and not pure Chinese style. And actually, if you get the close look of the building, and you will figure out it's actually a mix. It's a mix of both like Chinese, Western, Japanese, and Taiwanese style. So this is kind of like culture and something, it's a feature of Taiwanese feature. So it's that we have a mix of culture. And for the mixed culture, we can say something about, for example, Taiwanese are actually very tolerant and to foreign culture. And when something that we are unfamiliar getting into our life, we tend to adopt it more easily. And it's because we have the history of colonization and lots of immigration. So that is probably why we have such a culture. So maybe in your culture you have a very similar history like Taiwan, and then maybe you can think about how you can use it in tourism. Let's move on. Okay, now let's move on, and we are going to show you one of the oldest street house in this area. We can stand here for a while, and at my back, this is a tea shop. Okay, and you can see the architecture style is different from what you have seen in the camera. So this is called the Southern China style. And for Southern China style, well, we got this style about like 300 years ago when the Chinese immigrants moved to Taiwan. They brought this style as well. And so for this style, you could see it's only one floor. It's not like, it doesn't have like second or third floor, and it's all made of wood. And how they close the door every day and open the shop, they will use the wooden boards like one after one. Okay, so in the morning they would take off the boards and leave it aside, and then during the night when they are going to close the shop, they just put the wooden boards back. And actually they also use the shelf like this one, and they can take it up and can be a display shelf. Okay, so now it's running as a tea shop. So in Taiwan, you can get into a tea shop and you can actually try the tea and you are interested, and you can drink the tea and before you make your choice. Okay, and so for this kind of space, usually it's kind of relaxing and with a very good atmosphere, and so you can get in and spend some time in there. Okay. So this is almost the end of our tour, and so we are going to make a quick ending here. And so today we have been showing you something in the old town of Taipei, and we have been using our examples. For example, we have been seeing fabric market, we have been seeing the herbal tea, or the lovely fabric shop called In Bloom, and also we have been introducing you the religion and the temple, the importance of temple. And then we walk on the street and we have seen lots of the traditional shops here, the Chinese medicine shops, and also the architecture. So we are using our examples to share our experience with you about how we can utilize what we have in the old town to promote tourism. So maybe in the end of the tour, and it's your time, and you can share with us. So do you have something similar that you can use in your old town or your place? And what is the strength and what is the advantage of your old town? Okay, and so our suggestion would be, just to wrap up what we have been saying, is that finding something that is not only in front of your eyes, but trying to find the history connecting to the thing you want to introduce, and then trying to put some linking with the surrounding environment, and then finding something extraordinary in your daily life. Okay, and finally, I want to deliver you a message that is more local, more international. So finding something more local is easier for you to do your tourism, because you can promote it to more people, because this is something unique and only you have it. Okay, so that's the end of a tour. So if you have any questions, and you can ask it now.
邀请大家留言或者是按麦克风来说。
Okay, so now you can leave a message in the chat room, or you can just turn on your microphone and share your opinion or your comments with us.
Hi, Golda here. I just want to express my gratitude. It was a really informative, very engaging walk that you took us in Taiwan. Thank you. It made me realize that we don't have to go to the extreme. We can use exactly what we have, use our culture, our history, and make something big out of the traditional that we have in our own countries. Thank you. Thank you for that tour.
Thank you for your sharing. So I think for your country, maybe you have something like us, and we have kind of that in Taiwan. We have a mixed culture. So actually, the mixed culture is something unique. You know, it's not pure Western, it's not pure Chinese, not pure Taiwanese. It's something that mixes up, and this is something special. Only can find it in your place. So maybe you can find the same things. Okay, and thank you for your sharing. Anyone else want to tell us about your opinion, or did you get any inspiration in the last 1 hour? You can, if you are shy, you can also leave a message. No message? Okay.
还是不好意思，可以请老师帮我们分享，就是这个云端散步的概念吗？在最后的部分，
云端散步的概念，
就是这个产品服务的部分。
还是你来讲好？那我直接请岛内散步的志豪来讲这个部分，因为他会比较专业。好，稍等一下。
不好意思。
Hi, my name is Sunny. I'm working in Taiwan. So now we have the online tour. Actually, it's because the pandemic, so we could not guide the tourists really walk on the street. So somehow the tourism now is almost like destroyed. We could not have any kind of the business like usual. So somehow we try to try the way to the real activity to the online. So it's like a huge shock for each of us, because before we really like to really connection to our guests, to guide them to see the building or talking to our neighbors. But now in the online, anything could not happen again. So somehow we try to have the online tour, and we also want to keep to promote the Taiwan culture as usual. So in the online tour, we have two ways. One is we try to give our microphone to our neighbors and let them can keep to introduce themselves, because as the local people, if they have the chance to keep tell their own story, the local traditionally or our culture will deliver to our next generation. It is the way. The another thing is we try to bring the local souvenir to send our customer, our guests, their home before joining the online tour. So when the time they join the online tour, they also can try to DIY the local like a dessert or some souvenir by themselves with the local teachers together. So connection with the local, our neighborhood as usual, and bring some activity during the online tour we can try again. So it is somehow the work in Taiwan, we do it now. So, you know, in the COVID-19, they have a lot of people, they working at home or they doesn't have opportunity to walk on the street. So watch Walking in Taiwan, our online tour is they're enjoying. They have the fun to go to the place they are really miss and try to have some connection with their friends online. So they also have like Facebook, Google, or HB. They try to use the online tour service. So they also give Walking in Taiwan new business models. Then we can pass and deliver and try to live well after the pandemic. So this is the Walking in Taiwan we doing right now. So if you have any question about this new business model, you also can ask me. My name is Sunny. I could answer your questions.
我们这边有另外西语的学员有想要提问，然后 Carol 方便开那个麦克风吗？因为不太确定说他想要询问的部分。他说就是想要知道茶对于台湾文化的仪式和重要性。
You want to know the tea, why it's important in Taiwan? So we were talking about the stories. Taiwan have a nickname around the world called Formosa. Formosa is called from people from Portuguese, right? 葡萄牙人, Portuguese people. When they crossing the ocean, they see Taiwan island, they call Formosa. This means it is the beautiful island. But somehow when the Portuguese people they shipping around the world, they call a lot of island Formosa. This means a lot of island is very beautiful. So why Taiwan connecting Formosa around the world? The name is because we export the Taiwan oolong tea. So when the Taiwan export the Taiwan oolong tea, the brand of the name is Formosa oolong tea. So when a foreigner drink the tea and they feel, wow, it's very fantastic, they ask where is Formosa? Oh, Formosa is Taiwan. So until the time, Taiwan connection with the Formosa, the name together. So tea is quite important. And tea is also have the relationship with the Dadaocheng. We have the online tour today because when the time Taiwan export the tea, Dadaocheng is the transport spot. So long time ago in Dadaocheng, the people in here, they doing the business of the tea. Even a woman, they were try to clean the tea and make the tea become a product. So Dadaocheng have a very strong relationship with the tea, and tea is also a very important product about Taiwan because the Formosa name is coming from the tea. So now our camera is show the Zhenwei Cha Yuan. It is the very oldest Taiwanese tea exporter in Dadaocheng. So you also can see the building style or inside have the local tea in here. So until now, we not just only want to introduce the Taiwanese tea in Dadaocheng. We also want to let the foreigner or our guests to know why tea is important here. So it is I think the tourism they were more interesting about in our tour. So if you have any question, you also can ask me more, and I will answer you. Okay. Have another information is in Taiwan we have the traditional tea like the oolong tea, but we also have famous tea like bubble milk tea. So for the young generation, they have so many choice, and we are quite easily could get the bubble milk tea in the corners. OK，
应该，还有另外一个学员是提问到，就是说，就是大稻埕当地有导游吗？
Oh, yes, we have the tour guides in Dadaocheng. Actually, we have a lot of tour guides in here because Dadaocheng is in here have the temple, history building, or traditionally market. So somehow it's very, it's a small place, but they have so many topic can go here to visit. So yes, we have tourism will come. Another thing is here have so many school teachers. They will guide their student come here because one the time they study on the guide on the book in the classroom, they didn't know how's the real life connection with that. So the teachers will guide their students try to visit Dadaocheng because all the things writing on the book is happening in here. For example, one time our book is talking about the Formosa oolong tea. The best way to let student understanding that knowledge is real connection with their life is guide student visit Dadaocheng. So one time the student visit the tea shop, they will hear the local neighborhoods. They introduce their history, and also all the knowledge is connecting to the book they learn in the classroom. So not only tourists and guides, they will come to visit Dadaocheng, they also have a lot of teachers from school will guide their students to visit here. I think it's quite special in Dadaocheng now. Okay, so this is the answer about.
没有其他的学员有提问。那看伟林那边是不是可以请老师这边做一个结尾
？So thanks everyone to to follow your time. I know it's at night for your country to join Walking in Taiwan to visit Dadaocheng. So as teacher Eva said, more local, more international. It is the thing that we want to have some idea to you. So we didn't want to copy another country's cultures. We just want to be ourselves. But so when the time we proudly to introduce ourselves, we have more opportunity to have the very unique travels or tourist spotlight. So it is somehow Walking in Taiwan want to show you in Dadaocheng, our old town area in Taiwan.
Entonces, bueno, acá es Dadaocheng, es un pueblo tradicional, antiguo.
谢谢志豪，
谢谢伟林。
谢谢。Okay. Thank you everyone for joining this fruitful journey with us, and see you. Let me check. Yeah, see you in Wednesday evening. Bye.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night. See you soon.
谢谢大家。
谢谢志豪。